You're live.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to City Council meeting. Today is Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's approximately 1 p.m. I am Mayor Eric Enriquez. Before we start, I want to mention that we have an ASL, American Sign Language interpreter, available up in the front. We will start with a moment of silence for the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces as they protect our interests around the globe, as well as our courageous men and women of the Las Cruces Police and Fire Department. Councilor Corinne, if you lead us in the pledge. We'll start with proclamations. They'll be delivered by Councilor Corinne.
Thank you, and I see you all just bicycled here, just in time. Come on up, everyone, please join us. So excited to see you all. Come on up, come on up. Yep. Hey, how are you? You all can stand wherever you'd like, along here. In front. We're gonna eventually go there for pictures, but if you want to stand up here, yeah. So, welcome. Are you out of breath? I'll give you all a chance. No? Okay. Sorry. I'll read this proclamation and then you all have a chance to speak. But welcome, George, Ashley, the Lynn Community Middle School Bike Club representing. Thank you all for being here. This is for National Bike Month. So, whereas the bicycle is a viable, environmentally and economically sound form of transportation and an excellent form of recreation, and whereas the League of American Bicyclists, the Mesilla Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization, the City of Las Cruces, and Las Cruces Public Schools, local cycling clubs, and independent bicyclists are promoting greater public health awareness of bicycle operations and safety education, and whereas the City of Las Cruces in 2021 earned a renewed bronze level designation as a bicycle-friendly community from the League of American Bicyclists, and the city has adopted its active transportation plan and complete streets ordinance, and whereas the City of Las Cruces has been awarded the Safe Streets for All grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation to update the active transportation plan and implement 3 demonstration projects, and whereas the City of Las Cruces continues to improve bicycle routes and trails for transportation and recreation, and the city with Mesilla Valley MPO, LCPS, support the Safe Routes to School program, and whereas bicyclists of all ages throughout Las Cruces in the Mesilla Valley and the nation will be promoting bicycling as an environmentally friendly alternative to the automobile and a wholesome activity that improves health during the month of May 2025 through group rides, events, and commuting to school and work. And I expect all of us to give them space out there on the roads this month and all the months, please. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as National Bike Month, the week of May 6th through May 9th as Las Cruces Bike to School Week, the week of May 12th through 16th, Las Cruces Bike to Work Week, and May 16th as Las Cruces Bike to Work Day throughout our proud city, and urge all who support bicycling to participate in the planned events. And now I'll turn it over to you all to give a little speech.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm George Pearson. I'm Vice President of Velo Cruces, which is a local bicycle pedestrian advocacy organization. And I want to thank the City Council for this proclamation. This is 24 years, something like that we've been doing this. So the progress that we've made for bicycle safety since the beginning of that time has been quite good, and we hope to see it improve even more with the updates to the active transportation plan. In May, we have several activities. Yesterday, we had a bike blessing. May 7th is the official National Bike to School Day. With May 6th through 9th, there'll be activities at each school, and Ashley will talk a little bit more about that. May 12th, we'll have our Share the Road Visibility Ride, which demonstrates bicyclists riding safely with traffic, which goes from the train museum, and then up on its way up to Solano, around Solano to University, and then back. And then we have some coffee at Grounded, so if you can't ride a bike with us, you can join us for coffee. National Bike to Work Week, as the proclamation says, is May 12th through 16th, with May 16th is National Bike to Work Day. I've been told the city will do a Bike to Work Day event. Details to follow. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. And Cruces will have a meet and greet on starting at 5 o'clock on Bike to Work Day at Little Toad Creek. And then May 21st is the Ride of Silence, which is the 20th year that we've had it down here in the Mesilla Valley, which honors those killed and injured while riding their bicycle. That starts at 6:15 at the Mesilla Plaza. And then spilling over into the next month a little bit, we have June 7th is the Adaptive Cycle Parade by Everybody Rides with Grace, which is a nonprofit that gives adaptive cycles to people that otherwise couldn't receive them and get them out on bikes. And then we'll have a Father's Day ride on June 15th from Pioneer Women's Park up to the airport, which is always a good time. So thank you for that. And Ashley, do you want to?
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, members of the public. My name is Ashley Curry. I'm the Safe Routes to School Coordinator for Las Cruces Public Schools. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for giving us space on the roads, for allowing our students to be able to ride safely to school, not only this week and this month, but at all times. And I will save some time for our students from Lynn Middle School Bike Club to be able to say some things if they would like to. So again, thank you so much for having us. Who would like to come to the microphone to say something? Come on up. Okay, come. Just introduce yourself and then say what you want to say. Just say what your name is and say what you'd like to say. Sorry. That's okay.
My name is Lucian Gilkison from Lynn Middle School. I really like riding bikes because it's a really good way to exercise while also having fun at the same time. My brain froze, that's it.
Thank you, Lucian.
Hello, my name is Angel Hernandez. The reason I like bike riding is because you could do awesome tricks with them. And also, it's the best way to get to transport and exercising at the same time. That's it.
My name is Sai Saibu. Bike is like you can go like everywhere to ride a bike like different countries.
Hi, I'm Autumn. I'm from Lynn Middle School, and why I like bikes is because I like riding them. They make you feel free. And I also like them because they help the environment, because cars pollute the air. Bikes do not. So bikes are environmentally safe. Bye-bye.
My name is Robert, and the reason why I like biking, it's a way of exercising. It could be fun in many ways. It could be a great way for transportation instead of car.
Hello, my name is Ariana. The reason why I like bike riding is because it makes me feel safe, and it's one step closer to riding a motorcycle.
Hi, my name's Montana, and I like biking because it's fun and yeah.
George wanted me to make sure that you all know that we rode from Lynn Middle School right now, and we'll be riding back to Lynn. So again, a great way for kids to experience the freedom of transportation where they're in charge of getting themselves to where they need to go. So again, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Can I say one more thing? No, interview.
It's scary when you get up to this mic, no? Like, oh, yeah. Same. I feel you. Thank you all for being here today. Next up, I invite all the nurses here. Everyone who's here for Nurses Week, please just come on up. You do not have to speak. There's not a requirement, although you can. In particular, Dr. A.J. Stevens, Erin Young, Pam Field, Jackie Kaiser, Cheryl Lombardi, Caitlin Pozziato, and Jessica Womack. And anyone else who's here for Nurses Week, please come on up. I'll read this, and then you all will have a chance to speak. So. Whereas registered nurses in the United States constitute the nation's largest healthcare profession, and whereas the depth and breadth of the registered nursing profession meets the different and emerging healthcare needs of the American population in a wide range of settings, including the front line of the pandemic, and whereas the American Nurses Association, as the voice for registered nurses in this country, is working to chart a new course for a healthy nation that relies on increasing access to primary and preventive health care and better utilization of all of our nation's registered nursing resources. And whereas professional nursing is an indispensable component of the safety and quality of care for hospitalized and non-hospitalized patients. And whereas the demand for registered nursing services will be greater than ever because of the aging of the American population, emerging health challenges, and the continuing expansion of life-sustaining technologies and the explosive growth of home health care services. And whereas more qualified registered nurses are needed in the future to meet the increasingly complex needs of healthcare consumers in this community. And whereas the cost-effective, safe, and high-quality healthcare services provided by registered nurses will be increasingly important component of the United States healthcare delivery system in the future. And whereas, along with the American Nurses Association, the New Mexico Nurses Association has declared May 6th through 12th as Nurses Week, with the theme, The Power of Nurses, with appreciation for nurses' unparalleled impact and their contributions to healthcare, and an open invitation to #ThankANurse for enriching the lives of the world that we live in. Please do. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, ask that all residents of Las Cruces join us in honoring the registered nurses who care for all of us, and that the residents of Las Cruces celebrate registered nurses' accomplishments and efforts to improve our healthcare system, and show our appreciation for the nation's registered nurses, not just during this week, but at every opportunity we have throughout the year. On behalf of the Mayor and City Council.
Good afternoon. My name is A.J. Stevens, and I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Nursing Officer at Mountain View Regional Medical Center. I want to say thank you to the Mayor and to the City Council, to the City of Las Cruces, and to all of our community for this proclamation and being able to celebrate our wonderful profession. As she mentioned, every year from May 6th to May 12th we celebrate National Nurses Week. It's a time to recognize and celebrate what I consider to be the differentiator in healthcare, in our healthcare system, which is our nurses. The Bureau of Health Workforce estimates that there are 4.3 million professional nurses licensed in the United States, which does make us the largest sector of the healthcare workforce. For more than 20 years, nurses have consistently been ranked as the most trusted profession in America by Gallup's annual Most Honest and Ethical Professions poll. Whether it's a nurse in the emergency department comforting a family during the unthinkable, a hospice nurse supporting a patient and family during end of life, a school nurse managing the chronic conditions of our children, or an acute care nurse helping a patient improve and return home, nurses are at the helm of our healthcare system. I ask that you all join us at Mountain View Regional Medical Center in celebrating this wonderful profession and all of the nurses in it, not just during National Nurses Week, but every single day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jackie Kaiser. I am the chair of the New Mexico Board of Nursing. I also am a registered nurse anesthetist for the last 17 years. And so I really want to thank all of the New Mexico nurses that take care of our New Mexican residents. You are invaluable to our New Mexico residents and to our healthcare system. I want you to take pride in your career and what you have done and accomplished, and to reach for the stars. We have lots of avenues for our nurses and support of our nurses, and I want to thank everybody here for supporting our nurses in our communities and recognizing us. So thank you all, and thank all of you nurses.
My name is Jackie Williams. I'm a full-time staff member for New Mexico State University, all levels, bachelor's, master's, and doctorally prepared nursing. And I'd like to thank the citizens of New Mexico for providing a lot of financial support to expand our programs at New Mexico State University and other universities around our state in an effort to provide especially better health care to rural areas, where we can see nurses on the front line of public health, nurse anesthesia in small hospitals, and all of the things. My focus in the last few years of my career has been on psychiatric nursing as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And our mental health needs are gigantic, and there are not enough resources to help with all the substance abuse problems and all of the issues that we have in our state. So thanks to the citizens of New Mexico for providing financing. We're also a social ladder up for many nursing students. We're moving first generation college graduates, first to graduate in their family, and nursing provides them an economic leg up for their families to become a stronger middle class group. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for all that you do. Next up, I want to call up some folks who are busy always during our meetings. It is also Interpreter Appreciation Month, so we want to give a special shout out to interpreters, who I suspect someone might have to stay and be interpreting, but hopefully some of you can come up. Good afternoon. Welcome. I'll read this and then sounds good. You all can give your own speech. Hey. All right. Excellent. I'm so glad y'all are here. And I'm so glad that y'all are here, those of you that are here for us week in and week out. Whereas effective communication is a right guaranteed to deaf and hard of hearing Las Cruces residents by the Americans with Disabilities Act, as amended, and whereas all citizens, including deaf and hard of hearing, have the right to access to communication provided by the city, and whereas sign language interpreters help to bridge the gap between deaf and hearing worlds, and whereas sign language interpreters provide a critical service to the community, and whereas sign language interpreters possess unique language and interpretation skill sets, and whereas the first Wednesday of May is designated as National Interpreter Appreciation Day, Therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 25th as Interpreter Appreciation Month. So, and
I'll go first. I'm Maureen Gant, Chair of the ADA Advisory Committee. Mayor and City Council, thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. I'm not going to read this. It's just a kind of a guide. The ADA Committee is very grateful to the Council and Mayor for their support of sign language interpreters. Interpreters make it possible for our deaf and hard of hearing community members to participate in government and community activities. By lifting up the people who empower the deaf community, the interpreters, we are lifting up and promoting quality of life for the deaf community. Thank you for honoring our dedicated interpreters on this day.
No, I'm shy. Hi, my name is Brenda Lopez. I've been a sign language interpreter for the past 6 years, but I've grown up with the deaf community all my life. So I'm very grateful for this profession and to serve such a beautiful community. So thank you so much.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Susana Santillan. I work for the State of New Mexico Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. I also have a daughter who's deaf and legally blind. So this is a passion job that I enjoy working and assisting the deaf community. I'm so happy that I want to thank the mayor and the city council for really doing this proclamation for the interpreters. I mean, this is a field that a lot of people don't think of getting as a career, but we really need more sign language interpreters. So thank you all for doing all that you do. Thank you.
you guys get over here for the picture. Next up, we're going to do a few proclamations for Economic Development Week and Small Business Week. I know that there are some folks here from the various chambers of commerce. I invite up, let's see, Davin. I also welcome Debbie. Everyone who works on economic development, small business development, we're going to just get this conversation. No. Lorenzo, I know this is, if you identify in any version of this related to economic development, small business development, please come on up for Economic Development Week and National Small Business Week. No, definitely. All right. First up, Economic Development Week. More than 100,000 economic development or related professionals worldwide are committed to creating, retaining, and expanding top-tier opportunities that facilitate long-term, equitable community growth. And whereas the economic development profession cultivates thriving neighborhoods, champions sustainability and resiliency, boosts economic prosperity, enhances the quality of life, and builds robust tax bases. And whereas economic development professionals operate throughout diverse economic environments, including rural, suburban, and urban settings, local, state, provincial, and national governments, private-public partnerships, chambers of commerce, institutions of higher education, among many similar organizations and associations. Whereas economic development professionals serve as stewards, bridging the connections between community stakeholders such as residents, business leaders, elected officials like us, industry executives, and educational administrators to collaborate in promoting job creation, community investment, infrastructure enhancements, and an optimistic future. And whereas economic development contributes to the betterment and progress of Las Cruces and Doña Ana County within the state of New Mexico, therefore we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 12th through 26th as Economic Development Week and remind individuals of the importance of this community celebration which supports expanding opportunities, bettering lives, and moving society forward. Do you want me to do the other one? Okay. And to also recognize Small Business Week, and thank you to those of you who are representing small businesses as well. America's small businesses are the backbone of our economy, representing innovation, resilience, and the entrepreneurial spirit that drives progress in our communities. And whereas small businesses account for the majority of U.S. businesses, create 2 out of every 3 new jobs, and contribute significantly to local economies and neighborhoods across the nation. And whereas during National Small Business Week, we recognize the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners, and we renew our commitment to supporting the continued success and growth. And whereas the City of Las Cruces acknowledges the importance of creating a supportive environment where small businesses can thrive by providing access to resources, mentorship, and opportunities for business development. And whereas we encourage all citizens to support small businesses during this week and throughout the year by shopping local, spreading awareness, and recognizing the value that they bring to our lives. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby recognize May 4th through 10th as National Small Business Week and encourage all residents and visitors to shop locally in the city of Las Cruces. Now I'd welcome anyone who wants to give a... Please.
Debbie Moore, President and CEO of the Greater Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce. This is truly an example of partnership, collaboration. I always tease Davin and say he brings them in and I take care of them and help them to thrive and prosper. One cannot survive without the other. Our small businesses are so very important. They're the heart of the community. They're the ones that actually really give back to your kids in their schools. I'm sure they sponsor the bike club that we had the privilege of being here. So it's very important that we as providers provide the services and the services that they need to sustain and grow in our community. And so, yes, shop local every day. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Julia Brown, New Mexico Economic Development Department. On behalf of the department, I want to congratulate the city on its wisdom in recognizing Economic Development and Small Business Development Week. It cannot be overstated how important a partnership between municipalities, counties, and cities. And so on behalf of the department, I want to express appreciation to the mayor and the council, and especially to the city's economic development staff, because while we are always thrilled to see mega companies with hundreds of jobs, we know that the heartbeat of a community and economic development is small business. So congratulations and thank you.
Good afternoon. John Munoz, the President and CEO of the Downtown Las Cruces Partnership. I want to also thank the mayor, city councilors, and staff for recognizing for this recognition today. As you know, and it's been said before, Debbie said this, the local business owners and nonprofits are your neighbors, folks you see at the store, folks you see at church, folks that you see at the movie theater, who are vested in this community. So it's so important to visit and visit often. But I also want to take a little moment to recognize the immediate staff with whom we work with, who are great support, help us guide us through the work that we're doing. And I just wanted to thank Selena and Elizabeth for your support, and Chris as well for his support in the past. The young man never seems to age, Chris over there, but thank you, Chris. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, I'm Lorenzo Alva. I'm the chair of Mesilla Valley Economic Development Alliance, and I do want to thank the city for this collaborative effort that we have with you that has been going on for a long, long time, and of course all our private partners the county, because it does take a village to do economic development in this state. It's difficult in this state, but we get it done, and we could not do it without a partnership with the city, with the county, with the state, and with local stakeholders that make this happen every day. Like I said, it's not easy, but we get it done, so it's a privilege to work alongside with your staff at the City of Las Cruces, with the councilors and the mayor to make this happen. And a special support from the administration, which is always supportive of what we do. Thank you so much.
Next up, I'm looking for Officer David Udero. Please come on up, and any LCPD folks who want to join. Recognizing National Police Week. I hope you're not going to be scared of the mic. Okay, good. Thank you for coming up. Whereas, any other officers here who want to join? No? Okay. Chief? No rush. I'll also expect you to face the mic, yeah. Whereas, Congress and the President of the United States have declared May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week that May 15th falls on is National Police Week. And whereas 165 law enforcement officers in the United States lost their lives in the line of duty last year, and preliminary reports as of April 17, 2025 indicate that additional 21 law enforcement officers throughout the United States have lost their lives in the line of duty this year. And whereas Las Cruces police officers play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Las Cruces, Las Cruces police officers unwaveringly serve all people, safeguarding the lives and property, protecting our community against violence and disorder, the innocent against deception, and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas, since the first recorded death of a law enforcement in 1786, more than 24,412 law enforcement officers in the United States have made this ultimate sacrifice. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th as National Police Week, and May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Las Cruces, in memory and honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice and become permanently disabled during the performance of their duty. On behalf of the Mayor and City Council.
As like she called me out, I'm Officer David Udero, Las Cruces Police Department. Been with them for 6 years now. Been a Las Cruces resident my whole life. I took this sacrifice to serve my country, went to the United States Army. That's the only time I've been out of this city. And now, once I was complete with my contract with the military, I decided I wanted to serve my community that I grew up in. I was not always a good citizen at a very young age. I was a struggling juvenile. I went to Lynn Middle School with the other children here, which gave me the idea for their bike week too. We have a bike program with our department, and hopefully we could link them up to do something during these weeks to take them on a bike ride with our police department. We're always looking to better the community in other ways, like this one right now that I just saw with these children, and hopefully we could get something going with them to take them on a bike ride in the evening or so. But that'll be up to the big man, Chief, and he'll be the one to decide on that. So thank you guys, and if you guys see an officer, it's coming to the hot months, if you could please offer them water. It's hot in our uniform, so we appreciate what we do for you guys and your guys' support for us. Thank you.
Officer Darrow is our union president. He's very humble, but he does a lot for the department, doesn't get paid for all the stuff he does on the union side. But this is, every police week is difficult. This police week is especially difficult because for the first time in our 96-year history, we have an officer who is going to be honored and memorialized in Washington, D.C. during police week. And so we'll have several people there for that purpose, but this one hits a little bit different than the rest of them. And so thank you for the support of our community, city council, and city management, especially in the past year that's been so difficult for us. Thank you.
Next up, I invite our audit department to come on up. Viola Perea, Rachel Thielen, Vanessa Williams, William Blanchard, Alma Ruiz, Ernest Budden, John Fry, Rick Rivas. Please come on up. Thank you. Whereas internal auditing is an established profession with a globally recognized code of ethics and national standards for the professional practice of internal auditing. And whereas internal auditing is a vital part of strengthening organizations and protecting stakeholders of both the public and private sectors by helping to identify and manage an organization's risks, ensure policies and procedures and internal controls are in place and working appropriately. And whereas internal auditing is an increasingly sophisticated and complex activity that requires specialized knowledge, training, and education. And whereas internal auditors are independent, objective professionals who help organizations improve their operations and achieve their goals by providing systematic and disciplined approach to evaluating and improving their effectiveness of risk management, controls, and processes. And whereas historically the global internal audit profession promotes awareness about its value during the month of May, so therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Internal Audit Awareness Month.
Thank you, Councilor Corrin, and thank you to our City Council, our Mayor, and our City Manager for this proclamation recognizing May as Internal Audit Awareness Month. This acknowledgement highlights the value of our profession and the important role that internal auditors play in ensuring accountability, transparency, and good stewardship of city resources so we can continue to provide quality services to our community. And I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to thank and recognize the professional internal auditors who work here for the City of Las Cruces. We have Will Blanchard, Rachel Thielen, Vanessa Williams, and Alma Ruiz. And a special recognition I'd like to give to our community partners in the internal audit profession. We have Ernest Budden with Joniana County, New Mexico State University internal audit staff who unfortunately was not able to be with us today. And we have Rick Rivas, who's a past president of the Institute of Internal Auditors El Paso chapter. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the hard work and the dedication of our profession, and again, thank you so much for this acknowledgement. We appreciate it. I believe Mr. Rivas has a few words he'd like to share.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor, City Management. As past president of the Institute for Internal Auditors, I'm very happy, excited that the City of El Paso, the City of Las Cruces has recognized the Institute for Internal Auditors, Audit Day, and so forth. As you know, internal audit's the third line of defense. We're actually partners. People shouldn't be afraid of audit. We manage risk, mitigate risk. We're allies. We help both public and private sector certifications. And it's not easy to get certified, right? It takes years to get certified as an auditor. So I'm extremely happy. I used to be the internal audit, chief audit executive at NMSU for a couple of years. Went to AIG, was the senior cybersecurity auditor there, past global lead auditor for Johnson & Johnson for like 28 years. Going to start a new job with the County of El Paso as the lead cybersecurity auditor there. So I appreciate the recognition. I commend the city of Las Cruces for recognizing Internal Audit Month. Thank you.
You all know the drill. All right, next up, I'd welcome our utilities water staff, Ronald Burunda, Paul Gamboa, JP Flores, Jacob Cabrales. Come on up. Everyone who's engaged in. Oh, they're out on an emergency? Do you have any goss that we can share? No. Any goss we can share? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Our utilities staff responding to emergencies all the time, in case you didn't know, including right now. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas drinking water serves as a vital role in daily life, serving an essential purpose to health, hydration, and hygiene needs for the quality of life of our citizens, and whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the local quality of life that we enjoy. Whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designing capital projects, operators, ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its sources to consumers' taps. And whereas the coronavirus pandemic has shown a light on the importance of drinking water for health, hydration, and hygiene needs. And whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current and future generations will depend. Whereas the citizens of our city are called upon to help protect source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 4th through 10th, 2025 as Drinking Water Week.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody in this room. Thank you, city managers, city council, and of course, again, everybody in this room. Ron Burunda, Deputy Director of Water here for Las Cruces Utilities. The American Water Works Association dedicates the first week of May to the basically the men and women that work in our industry, but also they recognize the new technologies that we use, many other things that basically we utilize to get drinking water to your homes. So I asked this week, in participation, the next time you turn on that faucet of yours or that spigot, just remember that there was many people, many hands that dedicated their lives and their careers to making that possible for you and for all of us. So with that, I again say thank you to everyone.
This is the last one for anyone who's keeping track, and I will not stand too long between us and really good news about Dora, the pet of the longest standing resident at ASCMV, which I'm very excited for. So the last proclamation is for Professional Municipal Clerks Week, presented to none other than Christine Rivera and Teresa. Please come down. And Teresa's here. Sorry to call you both from your official duties for a minute. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between citizens, local governing bodies, and the agencies of governments at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center and functions the Information Center on functions of local government and community, and whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration and of the affairs of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk through participating in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, like the one that Christine was just recognized at. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby recognize the week of May 4th through 10th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and farther extend our appreciation to professional municipal clerk and all professional municipal clerks and the vital services they perform in their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent.
I'm the lucky one. Good afternoon. My name is Teresa Stavenhagen. I'm the Deputy City Clerk. It's an honor to accept this proclamation in honor of Municipal Clerk Week. I want to recognize also our City Clerk because I appreciate your dedication and your leadership in our department. I've learned a lot in the last few years that I've been here. Being a clerk isn't easy, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I am tremendously and immensely appreciative to the training, the coaching, the guidance that you provide, so thank you for that. I also want to recognize our amazing staff that we have in our office, in our department. We have Lisa, she's our records manager. We have Kristen, Patty, and Kendall over in our warehouse, and up front in our front office, if you guys have been in, we have April and Cassandra, and we appreciate the amazing work that they do with us each and every day, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilor Corinne. Next on the agenda is Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Rainey. I am the one-stop coordinator for America's Job Centers, New Mexico, the Southwest region. For Jobs of the Week, we have a city transit manager for the city of Las Cruces. That one starts at $58,000 and the posting closes on the 12th. We also have a youth program specialist, one, for the city. That one starts at $17.40 an hour and also closes on the 12th. We have a receptionist for Manpower, starting at $31,000 a year, and the posting closes at the end of the month. Also for Wild West Express, a truck driver. Actually, they had a couple of positions open, starting at $18 an hour, and the posting closes on the 23rd of this month. We have a shed laborer and a forklift operator for Barker Management LLC. That one has various closings depending on the posting. And we have Mary Maids, has a house cleaner for $14 an hour, and the posting closes on the 18th. We have lots of things going on around the community. For those of you that came out to Mansco, there is now a heavy equipment operator apprenticeship program. That's big for the Southwest, that's big for New Mexico. This is a fully paid apprenticeship program, so if you're interested in that, please reach out to us. We can give you more information on that. That one, they're gonna have a multitude of heavy equipment that you can be trained on. That is a 3-year program as well, and like I said, it's a paid one, so something to look at. Also for May, we have the upcoming Job Corps meet and greet that will be at our office on Alameda. That one, you can go and find out more information about the Job Corps program. That is from 16 to 24-year-olds that are able to join that program. And then we have our Community of Hope Job Readiness event, our monthly event. That one is going to be at the Soup Kitchen, El Caldito, from 2 to 4:30 p.m. And then I'll save the June ones for later, but those are upcoming. If anybody's looking for the events that we have, please log on to our social medias. Our website, employeenm.com, has everything listed as well, and then you can stay connected to everything that's going on in the community and throughout the Southwest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Pet of the Week, Carol Nielsen.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Nilsson, Digital Content Specialist with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. Just as a reminder, our Dog and Cat of the Week, whenever they are promoted, their adoption fee is waived, so it's always a good time to come visit them and see if they would make a good companion. So this week we have Jessica. Her number is 45822. I started my journey here as a tiny puppy, and now I'm all grown up and ready for a forever home. Just no cats, please. I absolutely love the water, playing fetch, and getting all the scratches and cuddles I can. I get a little excited when I first come out of my kennel, but once I've had a chance to run around, I settle down and just want to be close to you. I would thrive with thoughtful introductions and continued guidance to help me be my best self. I'd love to find a forever companion to share my days with right by your side. So Jessica's a great dog. We'd love to see her get adopted. And as has been the trend, our Cat of the Week has already been adopted, so they're going quickly, so we're happy for Toast Malone. And in line with good news, as Councilor Karan mentioned, our longest-term adoptable resident, Dora, has been adopted. So thank you to everyone who supported. She spent 479 days at the center, so we're super happy to see her go to her home. But we still have other long-term residents that would make great companions. As a reminder, you can adopt them at a reduced cost. So we have Alice, who is now our longest-term resident at 335 days, Tony, 319 days, Whisper, 278 days, and Bruno, 274 days. So I've spent time with them. They're all really great animals. So, and upcoming for this weekend, we will be at PetSmart per usual on Friday. And we're going to be at Roundhouse Reserve on Saturday from 11 to 2. So come out and visit our adoptable animals and see if you might find a new friend. And as always, for more information, feel free to visit our website or follow us on social media. So thank you for the time.
All right, thank you, Carol. Next is a conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None, Graham.
I do, so I will recuse myself when it comes time to vote on the potential conflict of interest, because I serve on the board of one of the organizations that we're considering. So I'll recuse myself when we vote on that.
What's that? If it comes up. And then we have to, read this one. Yeah, we do have one. So this is for item 7.2. As a part of our agreement with HUD, an additional conflict of interest disclosure is requested regarding the following agencies who are being considered for funding as part of the 2025 action plan on the non-consent agenda: Mesilla Valley CASA, Casa de Peregrinos, La Casa, Mesilla Valley Community of Hope, Mesilla Valley Habitat for Humanity, and Tierra del Sol Housing Corporation. Next is public participation. Will allow up to 3 minutes, no pending litigation or items on non-consent. I'll go ahead and start up in the front on my left hand. I'll go ahead and start out with you, Mr. Gajowski, if you want to come up.
I'm Rod Gajewski, the adjutant for Purple Heart Las Cruces, and live at 4420 Winchester Road, Las Cruces. I've given each one of you a flyer and contact information for Lorraine Padilla from Hospice to participate in the, if you would. We've never had anybody but Eric, Mayor, when he's been the chief, participate before, but we always look for someone to from the city administration to participate in in our candlelight ceremony. Every year, I'm going to quote from the American Legion magazine, the most recent issue. Every year, on the last Monday of May, Americans honor the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation. Memorial Day is a solemn testament to valor, marked by ceremonies, parades, and moments of reflection. It's a time to ensure that the sacrifices of the fallen are remembered. And that's all the ceremony is for, is we don't introduce dignitaries. It's about the 204 Southern New Mexicans who gave their lives for the service in combat, for their service to their country. Our Purple Heart group, Mesilla Valley Hospice has taken over the program with the support of the city, the mayors. It's part of the mayor's budget and Purple Heart. But the hospice program here, it's called the Vet to Vet program, and it's about serving veterans who are passing, men and women who are passing, and we honor them, we take care of them, we look out for them, and it's a special program that the hospice does. But this year they've taken over as one of their events to maintain their certification. We've given them the kind of the lead of the program, but Purple Heart monetarily and physically supports this action. Anybody have any questions that I can answer? No? Love to see. And Lorraine Padilla, her name is on the flyer that you have. You would contact her if you're able to be a sponsor of a candle. And it's placing the candle on the wall. And that's all it is. There's no cost involved. It's simply to honor that veteran, which their names will be read that evening.
Rod, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you do. You've been doing this for a number of years, this candlelight ceremony, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for supporting us.
Mayor, Council, I'm Liz Rodriguez Johnson. I continue to have concerns about the city's record keeping regarding city water pipes and private water pipes. With respect to the lead and copper rule, EPA says, quote, "The service line is determined through evidence-based record, method or technique," unquote. Where is the city's evidence-based information? At a briefing November 16, 2024, city personnel stated that 15,627 properties were determined to be lead-free. It was stated that this inventory was determined, quote, "based on available records," unquote. This indicates two things. First, the 15,627 properties were not physically checked. Second, the conclusion that they are lead-free is based upon available records. The quality of public records depends upon, among other things, upon the accuracy and the thoroughness of all the personnel who have had access to those records throughout the years, and this can vary widely, to say the least. The new rule says that a galvanized service line is one that is or was at any time downstream of a lead service line or is currently downstream of an unknown service line. It also says that if the water system is unable to demonstrate that galvanized service line was never downstream of a lead service line, it must presume there was an upstream lead service line. This galvanized service line then requires replacement. I'd like to know how the city demonstrates that such a line was never downstream of a lead service line. It seems to me that the city would need excellent records regarding all the water piping in the city to be able to demonstrate that. Livermore has provided data that indicates that many obviously incorrect records are embedded in the Las Cruces Utilities Inventory Map. Unfortunately, that makes the city records highly suspect overall. In fact, the more the city records are reviewed, the more clear it becomes most are unreliable. Here are some examples. A record declares piping to be non-lead based on installation after the lead ban, which occurred in 1986, even though the recorded installation date was before 1986. Another record characterizes the line as non-lead, even though a portion of it is unknown. Yet another record declares the line as non-lead without providing any basis for the declaration. Plus, approximately half of the city is omitted from the map. Hundreds of businesses, homes, schools, and churches appear on the map without any piping hookups or any kind of piping record. Please bring in at least one engineer with senior management experience to comprehensively address these critical deficiencies. Thank you.
Anyone else on that same row? No. Okay, next one, Mr. Butler.
Robert Lee Butler, Albert Las Cruces. I'll talk slow. It's Mother's Day coming up, so let's wish our mothers, our moms, a very pleasant, and happy Mother's Day. Okay, here I go. Go Aggies, go! With that said, I'm going to the body of this presentation to say poor Texas A&M in miserable at times, poor passive Texas. They've decided to advertise and push against all innocent and loving residents in our city, in our territory, with newly elected and infiltrating unyielding machines. As far as medicine of neurology is concerned, causing what is called water shock, all sponsored by the immature American Medical Association. What I'm telling you all is that very limited information I'm receiving. New Mexico is leading the United States in neurology. I'm assuming this to be true. I have spoken with my neurologist, Dr. Remy Arbach, all directed by Anthony Carver and of Mountain View Hospital. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry about the speech. I had to refer to a letter that I wrote to Las Cruces News dated page 8, Wednesday, January 28, 2009. I thank you all very much for your abundant concern. Meals on Wheels, the volunteers at Meals on Wheels are workers. Shalom, 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 shalom. I love Las Cruces. Thank you. And I apologize. I have speaking problems. I'm hard to get across my message. I'm sorry.
Next row.
Afternoon, Council, Mayor. Israel Chavez, lifelong resident of the community here. This month, in addition to all of the wonderful things y'all celebrated, is also Historic Preservation Month. I have repeatedly met with city officials about historic preservation in this community. My family, my great-great-grandfather grew up on Augustine and Campo, right behind this building almost. What occurs to me is that we're one of the only cities in Las Cruces that doesn't treat its historic district like an asset, but rather more like a burden. And I just want to encourage the city to look at one of the more historic communities in the valley. Mesquite Street and all of the accompanying areas not only have incredible history around segregation. One of the first black schools in New Mexico, in Las Cruces, was the Phillips Chapel. My office was built in the late 1800s. It is older than Mesilla, right? I mean, historic old Mesilla calls it old Mesilla, right? But in reality, Las Cruces has an older town site, and we don't see the same promotion, we don't see the same advocacy. To that end, I am partnering with the National Endowment for the Humanities to lead a walking tour through the neighborhood, and I would encourage anybody to come join us. They're going to be providing lunch. It's from 2 to 4 on May 10th. It's a Saturday. We're starting at Klein Park, and we're going to be walking around the neighborhood. There's an incredible history in what is the old part of Las Cruces. I don't see the city using its resources to promote, to support. Many of the buildings are allowed to remain abandoned, including buildings that the city owns. The city owns buildings that just sit there, and you can't let Adobe sit and rot. You have to invest in it. You have to ensure that people are restoring those buildings, because I know that this building isn't built of Adobe. I know that the city is not building Adobe buildings. Every time you tear down an Adobe building, that's it. We're not getting new ones. It's an endangered species, and the city has to treat its Adobe assets like every other city. When I was assistant county attorney in Santa Fe, yeah, it was a pain. Historic districts, historic preservation is difficult, but preserving the community's history, understanding where we came from and the mistakes we made are important. And so is the architecture in that district. My office used to have trees in front of it, and the city tore them out because across the country during the 60s and early 50s, 60s, and 70s, cities were tearing trees out of majority Hispanic and Black communities because they didn't want those communities to be desirable. We have to learn that lesson, and I also would like to see the city replant a lot of those trees. And I think there is investment happening in trees, but if the city has to promote its historic district. So I hope you'll do that and join me.
Yes, on that same row.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mr. Mayor. My name is John Jacobs. I'm probably the youngest person in this room, so I think it's pretty fair to say that this might not be as prepared as the rest of us. So please join me. Basically, I just wanted to say congratulations to the city of Roswell. The city of Roswell on Friday actually created the first city strategic Bitcoin reserve. I believe that this is a great step forward, and I believe that our city could be the next city to follow suit. Just today alone, the United States printed 72 containers worth of fiat money. This is a thing that happens each and every day. If I was a monkey and I got paid in bananas, and bananas were everywhere, those bananas would be worthless, okay? Fiat is becoming worthless, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't expect this to be a drastic change. I don't expect this to be something that happens tomorrow or even years from now, but I would like to say I would give my time and my service to the city and to the people here to maybe help the next generation as we see the digital transformation of technology, the digital transformation of technology, the digital transformation of wealth, the digital transformation of computers. What was the first computer that you had? It was a typewriter, right? And now we have this fantastic technology, and then we have all sorts of other things. We have things that have just progressed our society immensely. Now look, I don't think that this would be a big deal. I don't think this would change a whole lot, but I would be gladly willing to donate my time, my services, as well as a small starter capital to our fund. So thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Okay, that's row 5. Row 6. Anyone on row 6? Row 7.
Good afternoon. Diane Starbuck. I am with Las Cruces Nuns. Our group advocates for separation of church and state. The nuns come from when you are asked to fill out a religious affiliation on papers and nothing quite fits, you check off the box that says nuns. We will stand beside anyone to protect their freedom to worship or not worship as they see fit without government interference. I would like to thank the counselors who attended the Las Cruces Nuns Day of Reason last Thursday. Even though the city did not sanction the event, I would like the city for allowing us to hold the event at the flagpole. We received a lot of positive feedback. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Lucas Herndon. I'm a resident of District 2. And I came today to prepare to talk about my ongoing concerns with our local police. Then the memorial or citation was read, and apparently we're going back to the 18th century when we're propagandizing cops. So if we're going to talk about history of cops going back to the 18th century, and if we're talking about dead police officers, I thought it would be fitting to read this from the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. So this is from their website, from an article called Slave Patrols, an Early Form of American Policing. There's a significant origin of American policing that we cannot forget, and that is slave patrols. The American South relied exclusively on slave labor, and white Southerners lived in Southern constant fear of slave rebellions, disrupting this economic status quo. As a result, these patrols were one of the earliest and most prolific forms of early policing in the South. The responsibility of patrols was straightforward: to control the movement and behaviors of enslaved populations. According to historian Gary Potter, slave patrols served three main functions. 1, to chase down, apprehend, and return to their owners runaway slaves. 2, to provide a form of organized terror to deter slave revolts. And 3, to maintain a form of discipline for slave workers who were subjected to summary justice outside the law. Organized policing was one of the many types of social controls imposed on enslaved African Americans in the South. Physical and psychological violence took many forms, including an overseer's brutal whip, the intentional breakup of families, deprivation of food and other necessities, and private employment of slave catchers to track down runaways. Slave patrols were no less violent in their control of African Americans. They beat and terrorized as well. Their distinction was that they were legally compelled to do so by the local authorities. In this sense, it was considered a civic duty, one that in some areas could result in a fine if avoided. In others, patrollers received financial compensation for their work. Typically, slave patrol routines included enforcing curfews, checking travelers for permission passes, catching those assembling without permission, and preventing any form of organized resistance. There's more to the article. Normally I try to keep it focused on what we can handle at hand, but to stand up here and try to appeal to us over one dead cop in this city when the cops murdered 1,200 Americans last year. New Mexico is the most violent state to be a citizen and be murdered by cops is disgusting. It's disgusting that the city would do that. I'm ashamed.
Anyone on that same row?
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff. My name is Michael Radke. I'm the chair of the Airport Advisory Board at the Las Cruces Airport, licensed airline pilot, Gold Seal flight instructor, and resident. I flew 500 miles out of my way today to be here to talk to you for 3 minutes about an issue going on out at the airport. As the chair of the Airport Advisory Board, I'm tasked with advising the airport, or this airport manager on policy that impacts operations, safety and operations, and ultimately pertains to the adherence of federal aviation regulations on the ground and in the air. The ordinance does not give me the authority to act in any formal capacity, so I'm here today as a concerned citizen. But I wanted to bring up the fact that aviation is not an inalienable right. It's a privilege, and there's checks and balances that keep aviation safe. As a pilot, I'm held to these checks and balances, and aircraft owners and operators are also held to these checks and balances as well. The city's a Part 139 certificate holder that allows us to be an international airport and is beholden to the airport, the ACM, which is the Airport Certification Manual, and it delineates the authority of the airport manager and his authority over the field. For instance, I haven't completed my gate access training, and so my gate access has been revoked to the field until I complete that training. The issue that I wanted to bring up is I've been in correspondence with the FAA, and they have been made aware of an internal issue with city management and city staff, and they're opening a formal letter of investigation in our airport, which could jeopardize our Part 139 certificate. And this is bad news because the airport has great trajectory right now. If they find us out of compliance, this will mean a huge loss of revenue and a huge safety concern for pilots and the general public. I don't want to get into the specifics of the policies. However, I'm available to do so, but I just wanted to make the point that the Municipal Code and the Airport Certification Manual spells out clearly the authority of the airport manager and his duties to the city. I have issues with Andy, but that's why I work with him closely to make sure that those issues are addressed. And the city needs to let him do his job and follow the corresponding rules and regulations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilors. My name is Deb Dennis. I'm the Vice President of the Amador Hotel Foundation. I am here today to request that resolution number 25-121 be removed from the consent agenda. As I read this, you are about to rescind a 2009 resolution which identified the historic old post office as the location for the Museum of Art. I understand that much has changed in 16 years, and the city has identified another facility which you deem more appropriate. However, that leaves the question of what is going to happen to this historic building. We had expected that it would be renovated and restored and readapted to be the Museum of Art. If you do not do that, I think the public deserves an opportunity to hear from you as to what will happen to this building, which is about the only building that made it through urban renewal, among other reasons for its historic significance. So I hope that there can be some sort of discussion that allows us to learn what adaptive reuse plan, restoration plan, whatever it is that you may have planned for the old post office as we move forward. I'm also asking this because what I know personally is that for the past 10 years, the north end of the old post office, the municipal building, has served as storage for more than half of the Amador hotels original holdings, everything from silver and china dining sets to furniture. We never expected for it to be in storage for 10 years, but the restoration of the Amador Hotel goes on with no real end in sight. So we're also concerned what happens to the old post office in and of it for itself, but also as a storage facility for the Amador holdings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm Greg Smith. I'm a resident of District 2, and I want to follow up on what Mr. Chavez was talking about with Historic Preservation Month and what Dr. Dennis mentioned with that same effort being made in Las Cruces. One, the Amador Hotel is actually starting to look pretty good. Some effort has been made to clean up the east side of that building, and of course a lot of really important work has been done on the west side. So I commend the city for that work. I would also like to say that, Mr. Mayor, if you want to indicate at any time that the resolution that is noted as 6.3 is going to be pulled from the consent agenda, I will save the rest of my remarks for that time. Otherwise, let me point out to you that the municipal court building that currently serves there is in a building that's over 100 years old. It was designed to be a court building over 100 years ago. It does not meet current standards. There are plans on the second floor for a new municipal court across the street. Unfortunately, those plans have been left in a bin, as many other plans have been, on the second floor. So I would ask you to consider how you might move forward with moving the municipal court into a building that is up to current standards. The second thing is that where you're talking about expanding the current Museum of Art is an area where you are also sharing area with the Museum of Natural Science. And you're also, or at least the city has talked at points about having a children's museum. So you're still talking about a large concentration in a fairly small area of museums for the city. And I would suggest that it would make sense to get the municipal court moved and then take this building that is sitting there in a very prominent site and putting the emphasis, on the Museum of Art. I also want to point out that we do have a lot of art in Las Cruces. It is a large part of our economy, and putting that kind of emphasis on the arts is something that I think should be considered. I'll wrap up for this point, hoping that you will move it, to point out that some of us have observed prisoners being marched from where the parking lot is to the entrance to the courtrooms. It's hardly the look that I think Las Cruces wants for its plaza, is to see prisoners being marched. I realize that this has to happen, but I think that in such a prominent location that maybe we could handle our court system and our museum system in a different way. Thank you.
Anyone else on the left side? If not, I'll start over here on the right side. 1, 2, third row, fourth row, fifth.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Eddie Thomas. Let me start by listing the prominent things, good, bad, or indifferent, about Las Cruces that we're known for. Cannabis on every corner, homeless, plywood windows, crumbling buildings everywhere, especially downtown, high crime, high taxes, soon to be the Southwest capital for abortion, and now the scene of the latest mass shooting. Oh, I almost forgot, the movie industry. Maybe they would consider making a movie about Las Cruces, but we'll talk about that later on.
Moving on. So your delegation to Santa Fe returned empty-handed, probably as you expected they would, so that you can continue to point the finger at Santa Fe. Since the legislature failed to pass anything related to stopping crime in any substantial way, we're doomed to repeat the do-nothing scenario of last year. The governor will declare a special legislative session which will close in record time, perhaps beating last year's record for the shortest duration of 5 hours without getting anything done. Then the governor will get on her broom and fly around New Mexico holding marathon town hall meetings that accomplish nothing except political finger-pointing and drama that do nothing to deter crime. Meanwhile, council members here will write another scathing manifesto criticizing the governor for her efforts to enact some kind of meaningful crime reform. This while the competency requirement that turns our judicial system into a revolving door for violent career criminals remains virtually unchanged. For this, I hold the City Council and Mayor responsible for creating and enabling this lawless environment we find ourselves in, where juvenile gangs rule the parks and shoot each other with real guns and real bullets. As a result, 3 real teenagers are dead and 15 are injured. What platitudes do you offer? Your condolences to the affected families mean nothing if you don't do something to enact positive change. You've got to put some teeth into the law. Whether you proffered the progressive policies yourself or inherited them when you took office, you own them. You as government officials took responsibility for the laws on the books and allowed these tragedies to occur unabated. The idea is to deter crime, not to encourage it. Is it going to require another human life to be sacrificed on the altar of progressive passivity? It's baked into the culture here, and you guys are the ones in the kitchen. It's been that way for a long time, ever since I can remember. Disrespect for the law and law enforcement is considered normal and is a rite of passage into adulthood in Las Cruces. I'm almost done. It's passed on from generation to generation. You're just not a macho man if you're a law-abiding wimp. You got to drink beer, smoke pot, own a gun, belong to a gang, and drive fast.
Your time is up. Okay, thanks. Anyone else on the right? Don?
Good afternoon, Mayor and councilors. First, I'd like to say thank you. I was talking to Councilor Graham and McClure and Coran, and Becky, thank you, Councilor Coran, for reminding me we can all come to some kind of compromise at some point if we put our minds to it, and I needed to hear that today, so thank you for that.
Can you state your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, I always forget. Donna Stryker, I apologize. I also want to thank you for Resolution 25-129. It hasn't been voted on yet, and I realize that, but I'm thanking you in advance because I'm hoping that it will be voted on positively. That storefront grant program is kind of important for
Donna,
small businesses.
We can't talk about
okay.
it.
So I can't even say thank you. All I was going to say is thank you.
Okay, that's
hoping that it passes. Okay.
All right.
Then the other thing I wanted to ask is, so we have to wait for it to come up for me to say anything positive. Okay. Nice to see you. See you in a few minutes.
Is there anyone else on the right side? All right, seeing none, thank you. Next is the acceptance of agenda.
I ask that we pull the item from the consent and put it on the
Ditto.
agenda.
She beat me to the punch.
Which one exactly?
6.3, as requested in public comment.
6.3, resolution number 25-128.
So move.
I don't think you have to move.
Okay, was that the only one? Go ahead, Christine.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented with removal of item 6.3 for discussion. Councillor McClure?
Yes.
Councillor Matisse?
Yes.
Councillor Graham?
Yes.
Councillor Cran?
Yes.
Councillor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. So we'll start next with resolutions and ordinance, and we'll start with 6.3, resolution number 25-128.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
And we'll have Carol Bray start.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Carol Bray, Director of the Quality of Life Department, and trying to get rid of this other little window. There we go. All right, good afternoon. So I am just going to say a couple of words in introduction, then I'm going to pass things to Garland Courts. We're here to follow up on the work session that we conducted on March 10th to talk about the Museum of Art and specifically the move of, or proposed move of the Museum of Art to the old post office or municipal court facility. And we are today, as we indicated at that work session, going to request that Council rescind that 2009 resolution, but we'll go through a little background about our our museum's master plan, as well as our rationale for why we're proposing this move. I'm going to turn things over to Garland Courts now, Deputy Director for Museums.
Thank you, Carol. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Garland Courts, Deputy Director for the City of Las Cruces Museums. A little background on the resolution here. I was here at the time that they did this first resolution. Basically, at the time, the Museum of Nature and Science was up at the mall, and the idea was we had the Museum of Art and the Brannigan Cultural Center were down on Main Street. The idea was to get it out of the mall, basically, because it was kind of a weird fit to have a science museum in the mall. So they wanted to bring it down here. Well, in the subsequent years that passed, the city was able to procure a site just to the south of the Museum of Art, the building right to the south, which was a former bank building, and that became the Museum of Nature and Science. That was in 2012. So 2013, they did another resolution to still keep the building within the museums, but they thought, well, we can expand the Museum of Art into the municipal courthouse. And years go by again, and we get a master plan that's done that really looks into what we can do with our spatial needs, how we can expand. They did look at the municipal court. There's a few problems with moving it into there. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. It would be expensive. And then they also looked at how we could keep in place our actual footprint, which is now 3 buildings on Main Street, how we can expand those and take care of the needs for expansion. Okay. And this is part of what shows the new space that we need. And we also have our stewardship of 2 historic buildings ourselves with the Brannigan Cultural Center and the Railroad Museum that we also take care of. So part of the plan, which was written out, came out in 2020, shows our site as it is today, our footprint. And it shows space for extending our collections facility, having more of a children's area in there, more classrooms, and also more space for staff. It would be adding an additional floor onto part of the museums, but it does show that in place we could expand. And so basically after this, we kind of weighed the two between trying to move over to the municipal court building or what we have then. And in addition to that, we really found that having 3 museums together is a synergy. You can get a bus that comes with students and they can take us a tour and they can do 3 museums at once. It's not that far to the municipal court, but it is a little bit of a walk that they have to take. It's about a block and a half, I believe. So to have 3 buildings all together, it really creates a synergy. Our attendance has been going up. Every year it goes up. So we kind of like the idea of us staying in place. Do you want to take that?
Thank you, Garland. Carol Bray, Director of the Quality of Life Department. So as we indicated in our backup, a previous council passed resolution R09-270 to move the Museum of Art to the old post office, or currently the Municipal Court building. And but it also included the words upon the relocation for municipal court, which that is an issue that we're not dealing with today. We're really just asking you to consider what is best for the museum. We also would agree that the municipal court building or the old post office is a significant historic building here in Las Cruces, but we do not think it's the appropriate location for the Museum of Art, and that's really why we are here today. We have seen, as I mentioned, as Garland mentioned also, that extensive renovations would be needed to make this a real museum of art. We also have seen all of the discussion that happened during the museum's master planning process in 2020 and 2021, where we looked at different options. And these were really the 2 main options for Museum of Art. One was to move it to municipal court, as the 2009 resolution had called for, and the other was to expand where we are. Either way, we would get additional space. I believe that we would be able to find enough space to expand our current museums, our Museum of Art, our Museum of Nature and Science, and potentially that whole complex, really at least 20,000 square feet, which would give us, as Garland mentioned, additional exhibit space, additional classroom space, and would also keep us from having to maintain our collection space at an off-site facility at $100,000 a year. The other thing that we looked at really was the additional cost that we would be facing. And I can just tell you from our initial calculations and talking with Public Works that just to expand the municipal court building, and this is from a 2021 study that was also done, assessment that was done of municipal court. It was approximately $22 million to renovate the building, plus there would be the cost to move municipal court to another location, renovate that location, and or build one. And there have been proposals to build a new location for municipal court along the way. I will tell you, I have studied this intensely because I wanted to understand the whole picture. And we convened meetings for months with municipal court, with Public Works, with facilities, so we could really understand what issues we were facing. And then, of course, if we moved the Museum of Art out of its current location, we would then have to figure out what to do with the space left behind there. So that could be another $2 to $3 million to renovate that location, to perhaps expand the Museum of Nature and Science. So we would be looking at a cost of, I'd say, $30 million plus. Whereas if we were to expand and renovate in our current location, as I've described, to include more exhibit space for the Museum of Art, to include our collection space, to include additional classrooms, as Garland described, we're looking at an estimate of about $20 million. So this is really where we're coming from and why we're bringing this to you. We believe it's the more prudent move for our Museum of Art. So in summary, rehabilitation of municipal court building to Museum of Art is not our preferred option. We prefer to expand our museums complex where it is. And this gives you an example of the kind of synergy. This is the Cultural Bazaar, I think, this photo, the kind of synergy that we see every day at our museums, at the 3 museums downtown. So I will also now go ahead and present your council options. If you vote yes, you would rescind this resolution. If you vote no, you would not rescind it. You can vote to amend or to table. And now we stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Councilor Curran?
First, on a lighter note, I just offer, I will build a small moat for Zilla to come stay with me during construction, if that's required for. I love that snapping turtle. I can rehab my place for $0, and he can stay there during the construction. I'm sure that there's a different timeline for the city for that. The reason I appreciate folks coming and asking about this is something that we talked about on when we had a quality of life policy review committee. This came to those discussions when the museums were working on their master plan, and this was something that they sort of identified as just sort of hanging around, causing a little bit of conflict because it's neither an ask to disinvest in some historic building nor hobble the process of sort of growing our museums. It's just that this strategic move was identified in the past, and evidence doesn't support that it should be what we do in the future, both the combination of the expense of sort of repurposing something. I think we should really commit to making sure that we invest in our historic buildings, which there are even subsequent things on our agenda today that, including our CIP amendments, that show that we're making those strategic investments and thinking about how to improve our historic buildings, but also thinking about all the work and community input that went into the strategic planning for the museum. So I just want to sort of speak to the fact that this has been in conversation, and this specific act of asking to rescind something that the council did is really us showing that we're following the evidence in terms of what the best use of our land is, and it takes time and it causes us to reflect a little bit, but I really appreciate the work that staff, Public Works, the museum folks, and all of the folks who contributed to the master planning contributed to that. That doesn't mean that I don't think that we should keep on improving the old post office as it exists. I think it needs a lot of love, and we know that, and I think we will continue to commit to invest in that. And municipal court, as an ongoing conversation, I think is relevant. But in this case, it was just a thing that was lingering. I know it's been lingering for years, and I think it's really important. I appreciate us being able to have this conversation here today about what plans are coming together and how we've analyzed the costs and benefits of each. And I appreciate all of you doing that. And please let me know when Zilla is coming over. I'll start digging my moat.
Anyone else on council? Councilor Flores?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you so much, Carol and Cortland, for the two CCs. For your presentation. It makes a lot of sense. It just does. So thank you very much for your assessment and your presentation. I appreciate it, and I think that you did it in such a way that I understood, so it means that everybody else in the world understood it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, I just want to say thanks again for the master plan and everything that went into that. You know, there's no secret. I'm a big fan of the old post office. It's a historic building, and we do want to make sure that we keep it. But we have the dilemma of the municipal court, and where do we house them, and where do we go from there? So it's going to take some time. But you put all the effort into the master plan. I see where that's going, but we do have to hang on to our buildings that are historic in our community. And with that, I'll open it up to the public again if you want to have any additional comments. Yes, former Councilor Smith. You good with a couple of minutes?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, I'm very aware of the hard work that the staff does on a lot of these things. Sometimes I also think that we have to present an alternative viewpoint to bring in some other factors. And one of the things is that with this 100-year-old court building, you have a municipal court struggling to operate in a secure fashion in a building that doesn't work that way. So I would say that one of your first priorities needs to be to get the municipal court moved. Basically, municipal courts need 3 hallways: a way for the judges and the jury to move around, a way for the public to move around, and a way for the prisoners to move around. This building does not have that and hasn't had it for a long time. So it's something that really needs to be addressed. The other is that with a historic building, a historic preservation, you need to have a purpose for the building. So basically, whether it's a museum of art or some other thing, once you get to the point of bringing this, because everybody's saying they want to save the building, but as you have encountered with the Amador Hotel and other historic buildings, if you don't have a purpose for the building, then it kind of sits there, and it makes it kind of hard to justify spending millions of dollars to do something with the building. So I would say, please look seriously at the extra $10 million or whatever it's actually going to cost, but look at what it's going to do for our community. Because we talk about crime, we talk about a lot of other things, and a lot of that comes back to how do we view our community? How does our community seem to care about the things that we care about? What does our community say with the actions that it has done as far as what kind of respect it has for its older citizens and its older history? And so the municipal court building, I think, still has an opportunity to do that, either as the Museum of Art or in some other fashion. But if you just throw out the Museum of Art as an option and forget about it, then you leave that building waiting for some other purpose. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And again, just to recap also to let you know that we are looking at historic preservation as a city. On May 19th, there will be a proclamation for Historic Preservation Month. And then also just recently, a historic preservation specialist has been hired and will be starting pretty soon. So we'll start addressing. Starts today. Oh, he's informing him he starts today. Okay. All right. Thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-128. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo is absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 7.1, Resolution 25-129, a resolution amending the Resolution 2307 for the Small Business Storefront Repair Program.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilors. Selena Morales, Deputy Director for Economic Development. Today I'll be going over Small Business Storefront Repair Program amendments. Just a little recap on the storefront as it stands. Resolution number 23-087 was adopted on January 17th, 2023. This is for $400 in federal ARPA funding to support the economic recovery of small businesses affected by property damage related to the economic disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Small businesses can apply for up to $2,500 to help repair storefront property damages. Here are some of the current eligibility requirements. I won't read them all, but just a few. They have to be located in the city limits. They have to have a physical location, provide proof of damage and repairs. Here are the current numbers. We have assisted 89 businesses with the storefront repair program. 27 businesses have experienced damages exceeding $2,500. Total disbursed is $152,000. Remaining funds is $247,000, and all funds must be utilized by December 2026. Here are the recommended amendments. By recognizing the ongoing challenges faced by small businesses and the increasing cost of repairs, we recommend increasing the maximum grant amount from $2,500 to $5,000. We also recommend removing the restrictions on the number of times a business may apply, allowing them to submit multiple applications for separate incidents of damage, provided they meet all eligibility requirements. And here are your council options. I stand for questions.
Okay, thank you, Selena. Councilor Grant?
Thank you. I won't create any suspense. I am going to vote yes on this. And not a question, thanks, just more of a comment, but thank you for the presentation. I just kind of want to get it out there that this program and the recently launched biohazard cleanup program, I've gotten what I consider kind of baffling pushback on these programs, both through personal emails, a lot on social media. And I do want to point out that these are not the solutions, the only solutions that the city is offering to deal with these ongoing issues. We're doing a myriad of things to address root causes, to address better services and resources. So when people say that this is council slapping a Band-Aid on, a huge laceration, this is not all that we're doing. And despite this pushback, I continue to be in favor of programs like this because I think it is dealing with a reality that our residents and our business owners are facing, but it's not all that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. No. Okay. Members of the audience, did anyone have any comments? Did you want to speak now? I'll give you a couple of minutes.
My name is Donna Stryker. I don't need a couple minutes. I just need to say thank you. We've had over $20,000 worth of damage to our property, and it may not seem like a lot, but $5,000 is a lot more than $2,500. Thank you. I'll be applying for it tomorrow. Is that soon enough? Can I do that? Okay. Thank you. I do have a question, Mayor. So on the resolution 25 to 126, that time is over for me to say anything, right? Because we passed over those two.
Yes, they were on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-129. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores is absent. Counselor Bencomo is absent. And Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is item 7.2, resolution number 25-130, resolution approving the 2025 action plan as part of the 21-25 consolidated plan for City of Las Cruces.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Natalie Green for the record. The resolution before you is approval of the 2025 action plan. The action plan is a document that addresses both housing and community development needs that are identified in our 2021 to 2025 consolidated plan. It also allocates our annual funding for both the community development block grant program and the home investment partnership program. Our estimated allocation is about $1 million for CDBG, and that includes approximately $25,000 in program income. And then our home allocation is about just under $500,000 for a total of $1.6 million. The proposed recommendations are a portion is set aside for administrative costs that covers staff salaries, supplies, a number of items. We are also dedicating some funding to our quality of life department for the East Side Center acquisition. We have allocated funding to the Mesilla Valley Community Hope renovation. They are currently under construction, renovating the old Casa de Peregrinos, and so that project needs some additional funding. And then we also fund our home rehabilitation program, and that's a direct service program provided by the city. In addition to that, we are providing some funding for CDBG Public Services. It is capped at 15% of our allocation, and so we have 4 agencies that applied this year, and they are getting $35,000 apiece. For our home program, we are funding a mix of both single-family development and tenant-based rental assistance, including some program administration, which again will also go to staff salaries. Both Habitat and Tierra del Sol are community housing development organizations, so they get CHOTO operating funds in addition to that. And then the rest of the funding is for, again, tenant-based rental assistance. With that, you have your standard council options. And I stand for questions.
Thank you, Natalie. Any questions? Councilor Graham?
Hi, thank you so much, Natalie. I'm just making sure that the home rehabilitation program is what I'm thinking it is. So could you give a quick bullet point on that?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Graham, our home rehabilitation program helps low-income homeowners renovate their homes to make them meet either habitability standards, if they have building code violations, or sometimes if they need ADA improvements. And we also offer some weatherization grants and historic preservation grants through that program.
Great, thank you so much. So I was thinking of the right thing, and I just wanted to give a shout out to that program. A lot of households in District 3, my council district, have benefited from that. And I think it's such a vital part of what the city, and especially your group, does to keep people housed, to prevent them from suffering from housing insecurity. And we're also talking about, at least in District 3, folks who have been living in their home often for decades and simply can't, their whatever source of limited income they have just can't keep up with prices of fixing a house that they already own. So it's just a really, I think, often overlooked program, and I wanted to appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Matisse?
Natalie, could you tell me the committee, who determines the distribution and the amount of the funds for the different organizations?
So if it is for the public service programs for the nonprofits, that is made up of the Health and Human Services Advisory Committee. If it is for the regular funding sources, that is a staff committee that evaluates those using a risk assessment and then scoring criteria.
Seeing none other, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-130. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Coran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 7.3, resolution number 25-130.
This is what I have to recuse myself from because I serve on the board of Roadrunner Food Bank, so. Oh, we're still good? Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm going to leave so that I think we're still okay, right? We still have enough people? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to leave. Bye.
I did? Oh, 131. 131. Okay. Motion.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, McClure.
Okay, Isaac, you're up.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of City Council. I'm Isaac Holguin with the Housing and Neighborhood Services, and the resolution before you is the award of health-related public service grants to various nonprofit agencies. The health-related public service grants are a competitive application process that are voted on by the Health and Human Service Advisory Committee. The funding for this program is allocated from interest earnings from the Telstra Facility Fund. FY26 will be year two of a two-year funding cycle. City Council approved an investment strategy through Resolution 22-028 to fund $600,000 for each fiscal year starting in FY23 and ending in FY26. Since this is the last year for the investment strategy, City Council will need to provide direction for future fiscal years. The health-related public service grants are to help and support the physical, mental, developmental, emotional, social well-being, as well as the safety and housing needs of City of Las Cruces residents. The Health and Human Service Advisory Committee has approved $33,250 to the 17 agencies, and here are the first 8 agencies out of the 17. Here are the next 8 agencies. And here's the final agency with the total being $566,750. And with that, here are your standard council options, and I stand for questions.
Thanks, Isaac. Any question? Councilor McClure.
Yeah, I had a question. I'd like to know a little bit more about the process that the advisory group takes to make the decision and the final funding amount for each organization.
Definitely, Mayor, Councilor McClure. So how the process works is we'll send out a NOFA, Notice of Funding Availability, to all the agencies, and I'll also go to the Interagency Council. Once that is sent out, it will end up being a letter of intent. We'll review those letter of intents, and then after that, we will go ahead and, if applicable, send an application. Once the applications are received by the department, we'll go ahead and send out those applications to the Health and Human Service Advisory Committee. Once they receive those applications, they will go ahead and score them. Once they are done scoring, we'll have a committee meeting, and when that committee meeting is held, we'll go over all of the scoring of the agencies, and with that, we'll determine on how they would like to allocate those funds, whether it be a tier system or distributing them all evenly like they did this time. And then once they go ahead and vote on them, the final adoption will be here at council.
Thank you. I do have a little question about how was it not tier? How was it just given flat rate to? I'm just curious that it sounds like there's another organization, you know, we do follow rubrics in other areas, and I'm curious how this was sort of given sort of flat rates. And I'm making sure that per need that we're doing sort of the best we can for this.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor McClure, so the committee sets a limit, and their current limit is actually 30,000. In this case, we had less agencies apply, so we were able to allocate more. The process is a series of public meetings. So usually there's, for health related, there's 2 public hearings in which the agencies present their application and their request to that committee, and then the committee can also finalize their scoring. And then we come back a week later and we show the scores, and then we walk them through potential scenarios. Would you like to fund them? If you fund them all at this rate, and so there's a pretty robust spreadsheet. In this case, this is year 2, and so under the adopted guide by council, year 2 is just proportional to what they received in year 1, as long as they met their compliance requirements in their contract.
Thank you. I'm just curious because it seems like if we are looking at need-based programs, to me it seems flat rate doesn't make it seem like that is. But I guess if everybody else seems okay with that, all right.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor McClure, as part of every investment strategy, we usually bring that guide back to council, and at that time, council can make those changes so that you can change how that's happened. In about 10 years ago, we had a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 system where certain categories got more funding versus less funding. But again, it changes over time based on the committee and their recommendations to council.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing none others, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-131. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran recused herself. Councilor Flores and Bencomo are absent. And Mayor?
Yes. Next is item 7.4, resolution number 25-132.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, McClure.
Okay, Cynthia.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Cynthia Lamillo, CIP Manager with Planning and Implementation, and today we have a few CIP amendments we'd like to present. At this round, we have 2 types. First is adjustment to reflect available funds, and second, we have a project that has just completed or has finished the process for design approved project. Here we have 4 CIP amendments. At the last City Council meeting on April 21st, City Council approved 4 budget adjustments, and these are just we want to reflect those recently approved adjustments into the CIP document. So we have 2 renovation projects. One is Mesquite Historical District renovation and Amador Hotel renovation. We have the new Fire Station 9. This project is for design and construction. And lastly, we have a reconstruction project for Campos Street design and reconstruction. Next, we have the one project that has been approved through the design process. This is a fairly new process where the department submits a capital project. Then through collaboration, it goes through interdepartmental review. Then planning and implementation has been part of this process with the idea of elevating the project and tying specific elements to our new programs to ensure that there's the match of funding to special projects. And then the project will continue to bid and construct. As a reminder, these are our 3 programs: active transportation, complete streets, and resiliency. This project is on Melendez Street, and it will be receiving funding from all 3 buckets to the amount of 2.7. And in addition, this project also has 1.4 million in utilities. But I would like to invite Public Works to provide more information and specifics on this project.
Good afternoon, Council. For the record, my name is Kyle Arndt. I'm the engineering manager with your Public Works Department. As mentioned previously, I'm here to provide some highlights on the upcoming Melendez Street reconstruction project. This is a project to continue roadway, stormwater, and utility improvements from Hadley Avenue on the southern side, where the previous phase of construction concluded in 2018, and continuing north to Picacho Avenue. The project also includes Pittsburgh Avenue. This project is adding curb and gutter, filling several current sidewalk gaps, thus completing a vital north-south multimodal route within the Alameda Depot neighborhood area. Project is generally in 3 sections. The northern section along Lions Park, where roadway right-of-way is rather narrow, will consist of 2 11-foot driving lanes, parking on one side of the road, an 8-foot sidewalk along Lions Park, and a 6-foot sidewalk along the residential section. The southern section of Melendez Street, highlighted in blue here, from Mountain Avenue to Hadley Avenue, will consist of 2 11-foot travel lanes with parking and 6-foot sidewalks on both sides of the road. Highlighted also here in green is the remaining dead-end section of Pittsburgh Avenue, which will be reconstructed with parking on the north side and a 5-foot sidewalk on both sides. This photo is an example of the existing Melendez Street, and on the right-hand side of the photo, you may be able to see that there are currently no curb and gutters, and there's a long gap in the sidewalk. This rendering of the same area is an example of what the designed Melendez Street will look like after improvements are completed, with the new enhanced pedestrian improvements. Again, the estimated project cost for the roadway and pedestrian improvements is a little over $2.7 million, plus the cost of utilities. This project is scheduled to go out to bid this month, and we are planning for construction for August 2025 through March of 2026.
Cynthia Lamillo for the record. Thank you, Kyle. And with that, Council, these are your options for this presentation.
Thank you, Cynthia and Kyle. Any questions? What? Okay, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 25-132. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Thank you all again. Councilor Coran, did you know we had a Pittsburgh Avenue?
No H doesn't count.
Next, the board appointments. There's a lot. So I'll need a motion and a second and vote required for each one. The first one is John Oleski, a new appointment to the CIAC.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is on the motion to appoint John Oleski to the CIAC. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is Alice Carruth, a reappointment to Lodgers Tax Advisory Board.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
This is on the motion to reappoint Alice Carruth to the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is John McDuffie, a new appointment to the City Art Board.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
This is on the motion to appoint John McDuffie to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is Susan Polka, reappointment to the City Art Board.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
This is on the motion to reappoint Susan Polka to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is Adam Amador, reappointment to the City Art Board.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
This is on the motion to reappoint Adam Amador to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Next is Chantel Yazzie Martin, reappointment to the City Art Board.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
This is on the motion to reappoint Chantel Yazzie Martin to the City Art Board. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes. Thank you. Next is notice of proposed ordinance. There are none. Next is City Council member board reports and comments. Councilor McClure.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, I went for the first time to the 17th annual Boys and Girls Club breakfast last week, and over 400 people came out, and it was just a really lovely event. And I was wondering if we can consider to, as a city council, support their capital campaign in this time that we're talking about how we can support public-private relationships and do the best for our youth. I'm wondering if we have the responsibility to support initiatives like this as city council. So I'll just leave it with that. Thank you.
Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the public aware there'll be a District 2 council meeting, May 29th, Las Cruces High School, 6 p.m. in the cafeteria, and I hope those in District 2 and others that have any concerns, we'll have 4 directors who will give some good information. We also have somebody from Spaceport America that will give a briefing on what they're doing there, and appreciate your attendance. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilor Graham.
Too many Beckys. Thank you. First, just wanted to thank the community and Icebox Brewing for amazing support for the Firefighters Union event that we had on Saturday. Super great turnout. There was a Dalmatian on site who belongs to one of the firefighters. It wasn't just a hired prop. But several people asked, they're like, did you bring that dog? And we're like, no, it's our dog. So it was just really great to see the community come out and support. And then I also I need to read this one because I need to make sure that I get it right. Oh, and I just lost it. Congratulations to LCPD. Chief, I'll ask you to fill in some details for winning, I think, first and second team at Battle of the Badges charity event this weekend. Not the Battle of the Badges boxing, so not quite that cool, but if you'll just tell us what the organization that supports is.
Thank you, Councilor and Mayor. We had an annual event that supports La Piñon Sexual Assault Recovery Services. That's the, I believe, 17th or 18th annual event. And a few years ago, they added in the Battle of the Badges component. So this year we had the most teams we've ever had, 13 law enforcement teams. Each team has 3 members of whatever agency they come from. And so we had a good mix from different agencies around here, as well as Hobbs, Roswell, federal agencies. And the top 2 teams were LCPD.
Thank you, that's amazing. And did anyone point out that we were particularly stacked because we have a national champion on our team?
We have a few really good shooters that makes it difficult to beat, but yes, it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you to the department for coming out in their free time. And that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, congrats.
Thank you. Councilor Trent.
I don't have any notes. I do congratulate and appreciate LCPD for being the best of the best, so that's pretty amazing. Although you didn't say everything that they do. I was like, wait, is this trivia? I understand now shooting is a part of it, boxing is not a part of it, but what did you, I assume that it's just shooting? Okay.
Yeah, this one is a shooting competition,
Okay.
and it's not all law enforcement. There's over 100 shooters, and about maybe close to half are law enforcement. But the rest were just citizens.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. I wanted to just clarify what the secret tricks were. Shooting, it's good to know, not boxing. I'll wait for that one. I don't have any particular announcements, except I just want to say congratulations to all of the city staff and NMSU DACC folks who are graduating in the next few days. It's a really happy time of year. It's one of my favorite times of year, but I think a lot of people I've been seeing all kinds of reports of people who are getting associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and so I just want to give a congratulatory shout out to all of those folks who have gotten there in their educational journeys, and a welcome to the families in town celebrating. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there are a lot of people like standing in front of things taking pictures, so just give them a moment because they're in their graduation attire. So welcome to the families and congratulations to all the grads who are graduating this week.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I just want to mention also I was at the Mary and Lou Henson breakfast for the Boys and Girls Club, and I agree, Councilor McClure, that's something we can do, and we're very fortunate that the building that they purchased is now on the El Pastel area where there's an MRA, so that's something we can definitely look at and see how we can support their cause and help them get to where they need to go. That'd be great. And the only other thing I had was to say congratulations to Chief Story for being recognized as Citizen of the Year. He's not just an excellent marksman, but he's an excellent member of this community and well-deserved. Congratulations on your recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. And it doesn't get said often enough, but thank you, Mayor and Council, for the support that you've offered and the things that you've supported, especially in the past year.
Thank you, Chief. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Acting CM, J.C. Borrego.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. J.C. Borrego, Assistant City Manager for the record. Got a couple of updates. There will be a Mother's Day concert on Sunday, May 11th at 5 p.m. at the Plaza. Darren Cordova y Calor will be performing live. There will be food trucks. It's a free event. And please bring your chairs. To celebrate Bike Month, National Bike Month, the city will do a Ride Your Bike to Work Day on Friday, May 16th. So all you city staff members, please ride your bike on that day. We're accepting, the Parks and Rec Department is now accepting entries for the 2025 electric light parade. The theme this year is Las Cruces Unidos, celebrating our city's unity. The parade will take place on Thursday, July 3rd, starting at 9 p.m. And if you're interested in participating, you can find more information and the application online at www.lascruces.gov/parade or apply in person at the Castaneda Building on Hadley Avenue. To celebrate Arbor Day, city staff collaborated with El Paso Electric to plant 40 trees at the High Noon Soccer Complex. From our visit Las Cruces, the Mira Las Cruces Festival last Saturday was a success with approximately 12,000 attendees. VLC will have more information at their annual update at the next work session on Monday, May 12th. From our Quality of Life department, the Friends of the Library held a pop-up sale on Monday, April 28th. The sale was very successful as the Friends earned $1,182. So thank you to the Friends for their continued hard work. Desert Heroines, Amelia Lindley and Galen Skibiak, I hope I got those names correct, have been named Desert Heroines by NGAGE Success Partnership and NMCO Studio. Desert Heroines are women educating and inspiring generations, fierce and brave, as resilient as life in the Chihuahuan Desert. Their photos will be on display at the Mad Hatter Gallery through May 24th. NMSU students installed their bronze tiles on the exterior of the Las Cruces Convention Center on University Avenue. It's a partnership with NMSU and the Public Art Program. And instructors will add a title plaque to finish the project soon. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, JC. Just a couple other things I just wanted to mention this week going on. Tomorrow, Scott Andrews, the county manager, will be delivering a state of the address for the county at 11:30 at the county complex. And then on Thursday, Ignacio Reese, the superintendent, will be doing a State of the District address at the convention center at 11 a.m. So a couple of things that our partners are doing in the community, and if you get a chance to go by and support them. Thank you. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Graham.
Seconded, Corin.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores and Bencomo are absent, and Mayor.
Yes.